Tape www.suividecolosénégal.com. À École au Sénégal, c'est facile, tu n'as qu'à te connecter. Tape École au Sénégal, les leçons sont beaucoup plus détaillées.
Good afternoon, hello everybody. Wherever you are, you might be evening, early morning, or late night. So hi, or hello everyone. I'm back again today to have a look at a very important topic in the grammar, in English grammar. It is about quantifiers. Quantifiers help us to evaluate, to determine quantities. How to determine quantities, depending on whether they are countable or uncountable quantities, we have to use a specific term. For example, now we call them quantifiers, okay? So they're determiners that describe quantity in a noun phrase, okay? They answer the question how much or how many. Now we know that much is used for uncountable quantities and many is used for quantities we can actually count, such as bananas. How many bananas would you like? Okay. How many oranges have you got? Okay. What about much is rather used for something for you cannot count. For example, how much milk would you like? Okay. For example, liquids. Okay. Liquids, milk. You cannot count milk. Here we got much and many that sort of help us determine quantities. Now, example, I've got a little money. Though you can actually count your dollars, you can count your money, you would say, how much money have you got? It's the same as time, okay? Time as well, I would say, we haven't got much time, we have to hurry, okay? How much time have we got? We got very little time left to get to the airport, for example, if we are to catch a plane, okay? So money and time are sort of considered as uncountable quantities, though you can count hours and you can count coins or banknotes, you can count money. So, for example, you get how much money have you got? Okay, I've got a little money. I've got a little money. I haven't got much money. Okay, okay. Now, second example, I've got a lot of friends. Oh, you got a lot of friends, you can count. You got a lot of friends, you can actually count them. I've got about 10 or 5 real good friends, okay? Okay, so I've got a little money, I've got a lot of friends. Most children start school at the age of 5, most, okay? In general, it's a general statement. Most, la plupart des enfants, okay, commencent l'école à l'âge de 5 ans. Most children start school at the age of 5, okay? We ate some bread and butter. We ate some bread. Bread cannot be is not considered as a countable word. It's not countable. Bread, even in French, you would say du pain. You would say un pain. You would say a loaf of bread, une miche de pain. Là, on peut compter, okay? But when you say bread, it's a general statement. So we would say, we ate some bread. Nous avons mangé du pain and butter et du beurre. butter as well is not countable. You consider butter and bread as a global quantity, okay? You cannot count it, okay? Next example, we saw a lot of birds. We saw a lot of birds. Nous avons vu beaucoup d'oiseaux, okay? Lots of birds, okay? Now, a lot of is rather used for, okay? A lot of, okay? A lot of friends. You can count them. Lots of birds. We saw lots of birds. That's considered as, you can count how many birds you saw. We went to the Park of Juge. Because of the Parc de Juge, we went to Birdland, bird sanctuary, and the Park of Juge. It's a bird sanctuary. We saw a lot of birds. You cannot count how many birds you saw, okay? You just saw a lot of them. You cannot actually count them, okay? But you can count the number of friends you have, okay? So you say a lot of friends because you can actually number them, you can count them, but you say lots of birds. When you say lots of, that means you cannot count, okay? A lot of, maybe you can count, okay? Now, if we move over to the side, we consider quantities countable and uncountables, okay? Countable, okay, countable, okay, and uncountable. Okay, now, if we put it on a scale, c'est une échelle, okay? A scale of 100 to 0%, okay? A scale of 100 to 0%. When you say all, that means yes. For example, I like all types of games. J'aime tous les types de sport, okay? I like all types of games. For example, if you like all types of game, you will like volleyball, you will like badminton, football, and so on, okay? I like every. Every means chaque, okay? Up to now, so now you got 100 here, maybe here you got 85%, okay? Or every, I mean almost all, okay? And it goes, degrees, you go down and down. Most in French would mean la plupart, okay? I like most type of sports. J'aime la plupart des sports. Most type of games. Mind games, okay? Such as chess, les échecs, or maybe Scrabble, okay? So I like most type of mind games. La plupart de. Most type of mind games. Donc, we would say la plupart de. La plupart de, ici every c'est chaque, okay? Maybe if you translate in French, many. Many, as I said, many and much. Many is used for something you can count, okay? For countable, many, you can count. Much, you use for uncountable. Okay? Okay? Many people have breakfast in the morning, okay? After breakfast, you don't have much time to go to work, for example, okay? So, many and much used for countable and uncountable quantities. Some, quelque, okay? Quelque. Some would mean quelques-unes seulement, okay? Quelque. Okay? Some, okay? A few. Alors, a few and a little. What's the difference between a few and a little? A few is used for quantities that you can count, okay? Few people, yes, few is used for something you can count, a little for uncountable, okay? Let me see, for example, I went to the theater a few times. Okay, j'ai été au théâtre seulement quelques fois dans ma vie. Hein? I went to the theater a few times. Okay, quelques fois, a few times. A little, for example, let's talk about food. If we talk about food, how much, how many oranges would you like? Or how many potatoes, for example, potatoes, des pommes de terre. How many potatoes would you like? I would say just a few. I don't like potatoes very much. For example, I would say just a few. On vous sert des pommes de terre, hein, c'est des pommes de terre sautées donc, hein, quelques-unes seulement. Just a few, okay? I don't like potatoes very much, okay? Give me just a few would do, okay? How much juice would you like? Now when it's about juice, now juice is not a countable quantity. I would like just a little juice, okay? Donc la différence entre a few et a little, tous les deux indiquent des quantités minimales. Both few and a little talk about small quantities, but the difference is that few is used for quantities you can actually number, okay, and a little for quantities you cannot number, okay, you cannot count, okay. Such, I would say, a few bananas, okay, a few oranges, a few biscuits, okay, but a little water, a little bread, a little butter, okay. So tous les deux donc indiquent des quantités minimales, seulement a few c'est pour les quantités minimales qu'on peut dénombrer et a little pour les quantités minimales qu'on ne peut pas dénombrer, telles que les liquides, le beurre, la confiture, jam, hein? Just a little jam will do, hein? Un peu de confiture, ok. Donc les deux hein, sont quand même pour indiquent des quantités minimales, mais ils sont employés différemment. Alors, fewest vient de few, d'accord? The fewest, les rares fois, d'accord? At least, le moindre, d'accord? Ok? Ok? Few come from, donc c'est un dérivé de few, hein? Et least aussi, le moindre, hein? Few. At least, hein? Le moindre, I would say in French, okay, okay, least, at least, I went to the theater at least 4 times in my life, okay, j'ai été au théâtre seulement au moins, hein, au moins 3 fois dans ma vie, ou 4 fois, donc, at least, au moins, ok, on peut dire au moins ou le moindre, hein, au moins ou le moindre. D'accord? Et fewest aussi, c'est pour le nombre de fois hein, minimal. D'accord? Ensuite, any. Alors, any est utilisé, is used for, dans les questions et les négations. For example, I can come and ask, is there any milk in the fridge? Y a-t-il du lait dans le frigidaire, ok? Is there any? Donc, any est utilisé pour les négations, d'accord? Pour la négation et l'interrogation. Interrogation, okay? When you ask, okay? Right. I'm gonna go back a little bit, backwards. So I was telling you about fewest and least. Both of them indicate small amounts, okay? Fewest come from few, okay? We know that few and little are small quantities, okay? The fewest, if I don't like potatoes, the fewest, if I don't like any something, I would say the fewest quantities possible, okay? Instead of giving me a lot of, a few times, sorry, okay? A few times I went to the theater, okay? I went to the theater a few times. Je suis allé au théâtre seulement quelques fois, quelques rares fois, okay? I went to the theater a few times. The fewest I go to the theater, the better, okay? Moins je vais au théâtre, mieux ça vaut. I'd rather go to the football ground and watch a football match, okay? Now, least means moindre ou le moins, okay? At least, I went to the theater at least 4 times in my life, at least, au moins, okay? Okay? Last but not least. Souvent en anglais, people say last but not least, for example. Last but not least. Alors, last but not least, ok? C'est le dernier, mais ce n'est pas le moindre. Par exemple, j'avais 5 fruits, j'ai mangé les 4 fruits et il m'en reste un seul. I had 5 mangoes. I ate 5 mangoes. They were all different sizes. So I ate 4 of them. And the last one, c'est la dernière, mais ce n'est pas la moindre, because it's the biggest one. C'est la plus grosse des mangues. Donc j'ai gardé la plus grosse pour la dernière prise, d'accord? For example, so I ate last but not least, ok? C'est la dernière, mais n'est pas la moindre, ok? Voilà un peu le sens de least, ok? Now, any, as I said, any is used for negation and interrogations. For example, I asking an interrogation, is there any sugar in the cupboard? Y a-t-il du sucre dans le placard? Is there any sugar in the cupboard? I would say yes. Is there any sugar? Parce que c'est une interrogation. Ok? Je ne peux pas dire is there some sugar in the cupboard? I could say that, but actually I will use any pour les interrogations. Negation, la négation. I don't have any money. Ok? Je n'ai pas d'argent du tout. I don't have any money. Ok? Donc any est utilisé surtout pour les interrogations et les négations. Maintenant, I have no money. C'est la même chose. 0%. On a parlé tout à l'heure de scale. Sur une échelle de 100, eh bien, no, vraiment, c'est 0. C'est vraiment le plus petit, la plus petite quantité. OK? No, I have no money. I don't have any money. Donc, no et any, le degré est très faible. La probabilité est très faible. OK? It's very, very low probability. OK?
Tape www.suividecolosénégal.com